Good evening. It's 7 o'clock. I'm Chris Lopresti. This report is brought to you by Staples. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, Staples has the easy button back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy. The road team is 3-0 thus far in the NBA's East Finals, as the Knicks and Pacers have each authored an epic comeback on their opponent's home court already. So the Knicks are hoping the trend will continue tonight as they attempt to even the series at 2 games apiece out in Indiana. Here's Jalen Brunson. Sounds like Aaron Nesmith will give it a go for the Pacers tonight on his sprained ankle. He was listed as questionable and considered a game-time decision, but Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle said he is doing better than expected. Tip-off shortly after 8 o'clock. Yankees and Angels play the middle game of their series tonight in Anaheim. Carlos Rodon, opposed by Tyler Anderson in an all-Southpaw matchup with pregame coverage beginning at 8:55 here on the Fan and the Free Odyssey app. And the Mets off their series win over the Dodgers, took Monday's opener from the lowly White Sox, going for a 4-game winning streak this evening as Tyler McGill matches up with Jonathan Cannon. That one just about gets started on Odyssey Mets Radio 880. Looking ahead to tomorrow with the evening forecast, not so great. The series finale between the Mets and White Sox moved up to a 1:10 first pitch at Citi Field. Fan weather sponsored by Rinse Laundry and Dry Cleaning. We've got 68 degrees, cloudy skies in Central Park. And with sports flashes at the top of the hour, I'm Chris Lopresti.
I'm not staying here till midnight tonight. KM to 8:55 p.m. on the Fan in New York. Go New York, go New York, go. They actually really have to go though. This is serious. This is dead ass. The Knicks have to go. They have to win tonight and throw out game 3, game 2, game 1. Throw out everything from the beginning of the series. Each game is like its own lap in a race. Each game is its own story. And I think we know that by now. But of course, we're going to talk about what happened in the last game and what needs to happen in this. It's a different game. We'll see how it goes. I don't expect Brunson to be in foul trouble the way he was in the last game. I don't expect Karl Anthony Towns to have back-to-back games in the fourth quarter like he did. He needs to have a good game, yeah. Someone else has to rise, though, and I'm not expecting it to be Delon Wright or Landry Shamet. I'm not expecting it to be Precious Achiuwa or Cam Payne. I'm looking at the starters. Your starters have to beat their starters. It's that simple. The guys that you depend on have to beat the guys that they depend on. It is that simple. And the Pacers are looking at the Knicks like, well, they got one off of us. We let our guard down. We didn't play our game. We didn't play fast. We got away from our pace and what we were doing. Well, tonight, the Knicks got to take it to them like they took it to them in game 1. Remember that? Right? I'm hearing all this talk about Brunson. Right? You need Jalen Brunson to help you win. He's the best player on the team. He's one of the best players in this playoffs. There is no overcoming Jalen Brunson's struggles. I remember saying that about Judge in the postseason for the Yankees. There's no recipe for success without Aaron Judge. There's no overcoming the MVP not being the MVP. That's not how you draw it up. But here we are now ahead of game 4. And it is a biggie if you lose tonight. It's a Wendy's biggie bag. Remember that? Shout out to Wendy's that used to have the biggie fry and the biggie drink and the yellow. I haven't been to Wendy's in a long time. I grew up by Wendy's. The biggie stuff was it. This is gonna be a biggie if you lose tonight because you'll be a team facing elimination the rest of the way. You know, if you win tonight, you even up the series. You want to forget about game 1 and game 2? Take the first 2 games on their floor. Take the second game on their floor tonight, and you have a new series where the next 3 games, the first one and the last one, are in the Garden in front of your fans. Or you lose tonight, you set up potential heartbreak for your fans. They could be facing elimination in the next game, or if it, ends up a game 7. And I know this is New York. It's New York fans and mostly Knicks fans. You just made it through Evan and Morash, 2 Nets fans talking about the game, and you just heard positive Tommy. I just was sitting out there laughing with Ricky Ricardo and Vincent Von Vincent. That Tommy's PT, positive Tommy, he don't miss. And shout out to all the callers queuing him up. They talking to the third person and just queuing up his promo. Tommy is great at that. But I mean, Tommy said Knicks in 6. I think maybe the only person in media that said that last round. And he said Knicks in 7, and it's looking like it could be Knicks in 7. But if you want it to be Knicks in 7, give yourself breathing room. You have to win tonight. Belief is needed right now. 888-808-1019. You got to believe. You got to go into this game believing they're going to take this game from start to finish, that they don't need to go to the bench, that your starters are going to win. Mikal Bridges, come on, bro. Have a moment in this one. Offensively, have a moment in this one. Late, defensively, like we saw you do in the last round. I expect OG to play with his hair on fire with a little bit of passion like he showed us in the last game. But there's just so many people trying to lump game 3 into game 4. They're two different storylines. But this is huge. If you lose tonight, then it could be Pacers in 5, 6, 7. You lose tonight and you're facing elimination. You got to win every single game. And you got to stay healthy. You got to have everybody ready to go. You know, I was reading Twitter today, and I'm gonna read a tweet that I saw that I put in my notes. I was like, this is exactly what I was thinking, but articulated better than I had in my notes. The tweet reads, people are making way too much of the Brunson off the floor and Wright Shamet stuff. The Knicks turned the ball over and fouled a million times, allowing Indiana to take a 20-point lead. The Knicks slowed the game down and forced Indiana to play the half court while simultaneously picking up their defensive intensity. The Shamet-Wright lineup scored some points, but still didn't score enough to cut into the lead until Towns took over in the fourth. To think the Knicks offense wouldn't have the ability to score that way in the fourth with Brunson on the floor is insane. If the Knicks continue to play with the same defensive energy and effort while simultaneously forcing Indiana to play the half court, still their best offensive lineup is with both Towns and Brunson on the floor surrounded by shooters. And I'm like, that was what I was going to say today. That tweet comes from the guy producing the show right now, Rami Lavi, where I'm like, bro, and I know you're a Knicks fan, diehard all the way. You don't want to end up in the situation that you ended up in game 3. That was your desperation, last ditch effort. Have to break glass in case of emergency, save the day this way. You want to dominate. You want to win the way you've been winning, and you want to win with your two best players, two all-star starters on the floor.
Watch this team all year with the stuff they're saying. Oh, see, finally we went deep, and Towns and Brunson can't play together. You're telling on yourselves because we've seen plenty of runs where they play together and the offense.
Bro, in the first game, Brunson had 43, Cat had 34. What are we looking at?
And if not for a miracle by Aaron Nesmith where he hit 6 threes in a row, you don't lose that game. So, yes, that was my point. My point is that we've seen it work plenty of times. Now, on the defensive side, especially when they're in foul trouble, it's a liability. But not if you're playing with the intensity they played in the second half. Not if you're running over every screen, and not if you're playing the way they played, rotating. There was a possession where Benji from I think he's from one of the Knicks sites. He does great work. He put together a possession where the Knicks were running around defensively. Guess what? It was a defensive possession that both Mitch and Cat and Brunson were all on the floor. It's not impossible. The best lineup is still going to be with Brunson and Cat. You just have to up the defensive. The ball over and letting Indiana run, they're gonna have a field trip with that. But if you make them play in the half court, they're not a good offense in the half court.
They want to run. And in their media availability, they said a lot about not being able to run and play their game. And a lot is made about, we know Towns and Brunson aren't defenders. That's not their calling card. But we're acting like they're absolute waste of space, can't defend. They have to be smarter defenders. They can't foul. They can't have stupid ticky-tack fouls. And that's another thing. The human error, the human element of officiating is going to come into play tonight. It might not go your way tonight. Don't let it come down to that. 888-808-1019. I'm going to take a call while Rami cues up some audio from the Pacers, TJ McConnell and Miles Turner after the game, talking about the Knicks in a way where, like, you know, they're not looking at the Knicks as like, wow, here they come. They're looking at the Knicks as like, wow, we should have put them away. but we got away from what we were doing when they were on their last leg going to Delon Wright and Landry Shamet. Let's go to Bobby and Keyport on the Fan first. What's up, Bob?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I want to ask one question. If we would have lost Game 3, would we be calling out today the officials from Game 3, saying that they were going towards the Pacers, trying to make them win?
I think people did speak on Scott Foster, the extender, and how in the beginning of the game all those calls were going away. But when you win, you forget about that. When you win, you're victorious. There's nothing to complain about. Thanks for the call, Bobby. Sorry, I don't know. It sounded like you were at the playground or something like that. And why are we're going into Game 4? There's no reason to talk about if we would have lost Game 3, what we'd be saying about the officials. We're minutes away from Game 4. I just said the officiating may go your way, it may not, but don't let it come down to that. Don't let it come down to you have a lead and every play that gets challenged or everything goes the Pacers' way. Impose your will, right? So there's some audio I want to play from the Pacers media availability. Rick Carlisle is funny. I know when Rami and I were on, we were talking about Rick Carlisle mentioning Precious Achiuwa and even mentioning Cam Payne, and like, well, if it was me coaching the Knicks, I'd probably give Precious Achiuwa some run, Cam Payne some run. But I'm just letting y'all know before we go into this Game 4, the Pacers mindset, Indiana's mindset, Naptown, like they're looking at the Knicks like the Knicks are dead. The Knicks are done. That's how you won your first game in the series. Like we're going to go up 3-1 and take a commanding lead tonight if we just play our game. Go ahead and play TJ McConnell, which rolls into Miles Turner.
Slowed down in that play in the minutes. We just got to continue to be us. This isn't get out and play fast. I don't think we did that. I think our superpower is our speed, our depth, our ability to not get tired. I think we did that very well yesterday, and our offense is going to react. We do that, and I feel like if we try to match up on too much, our offense gets down. We did a little bit yesterday, so we've just got to be who we are, both offensively and defensively. We are solid on both ends, and match up. Make us a little stack.
You can kill it after Turner.
That's just to we just know we're awesome. We got to play. I'll get the passes back. Ball it down fast. There's plenty of time for walking the ball on the floor. That's nothing to do with the Knicks.
Nothing to do with the Knicks. We slowed down. We played into their hands. What'd you say?
I think it had nothing to do with the Knicks.
But that's what I'm saying. When a team says it had nothing to do with the Knicks, that is what they think of you. They don't think that you're better than them. They don't think you're able to do it again. I don't think the Pacers are able to come back from, where they were again. You got to give credit to the Knicks. They were down 20. The choke went back to the Pacers. Like they choked. They were partying too soon. So what I'll say before we take another call here is tonight is a way different feel. Now the Pacers feel like, hey, we can't lose this game on our home floor because the series gets evened up. All business. Go out and play our game. Run. Use our depth. You heard TJ McConnell talk about a superpower they have. They're hungry too. Not for nothing. They're trying to get, like, the Pacers' history. They've been good, but I think this is their second potential appearance in the finals that they're fighting for. And speaking of fighting, and it should never get to this. I should have led with this. If it bleeds, it leads. I say all the time. A Pacers fan stabbed 2 Knicks fans in a brewery in Indiana during Game 2 the other night. Yes, it is that serious that New Yorkers who are everywhere in the world can't go to the bar, watch the game, and talk trash. This young Pacers fan, and let me get his name because he deserves to be spoken on. This guy stabbed some fans for probably just rooting on their team, cheering on the game. This is that serious. It should never be that serious. So, make sure you're good wherever you are. I'll look up his name, but let's get another call in. Josh is in the Bronx. What's up, Josh? You're on the Fan.
I'm telling you, Chief, each game has a different chapter, a different book to write and everything. And look, you and Romney as sport, you're following all this, It's going to be deja vu, man. Tibbs is going to throw a new book at Indianapolis,
There you go.
and it's going to go back to the Garden. Thank you for taking my call. You guys know what's going on.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I mean, before I got out of here, I was going to say, you will not see the same game. Rick Carlisle is prepared for that now. They've watched that now. They're not going to go back to that strategy. But how will Tom Thibodeau counter? What's his plan tonight? What's he going to do? What's he going to throw at them? This is a must-win game, in my opinion, if you're trying to win the series. This is a game that can either even up the series or give the Pacers a commanding lead where your back is against the wall. And I know that the Knicks respond with their backs against the wall. I think, was it Boomer that was saying that maybe the Knicks don't want to play in front of all of these celebrities and whatnot? Maybe there's something to that. I know they definitely are road warriors. They like being on the road. I actually thought about it too. I'm like, there was a point in game one where I saw Cat come off and go to the Knicks bench, and he dapped up Jadakiss. He dapped up, I think, CeCe Sabathia. And it's like, I know he's met them before. I know he probably has some type of relationship with these guys because they're around a lot. But when you're in the game, like, you're supposed to go to the bench, dap up your teammates, not the celebrities courtside, but that's the atmosphere of Madison Square Garden. That's the atmosphere of New York. They're in Indiana. They're at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Back also, though, because Julius Randle just talked about this, how everything is magnified when you're playing in New York. And he's talking about his difference between playing in Minnesota and playing in New York. And I think it was on the piece he just did with Ian Begley. I want to get the quote here. It said, "It ain't fun. You really can't focus on the game. You're focused on everything else other than the game itself." And
yeah, there'd be baddies. There'd be a few baddies in clear sight. Like, yo, I never saw her in person until right now.
But also, he said, you're living and dying with every shot, every turnover, every loss. Like, there's something to that where when they're at home, when they get down big, they can't.
That's what I talk about, bro. I've been in there for playoff games, the oohs and ahs, and that's a 2-run shot in Citi Field. 2-0 after the Miguel Vargas homer. White Sox lead the Mets top of the first. But that's when I talk about how when you're in the Garden, you can hear every ooh and ah. And
that's a credit to the Knicks, but it can also be a detriment where the guys on the court are so tight where they're hearing every reaction, and all of a sudden they get down a few points and they don't know how to battle back, whereas they go on the road. This is now the third 20-point comeback they've had on the road in the last, 5 games?
It's what they do. It's part of their DNA. They feed off of that more so than the excitement of their own crowd. They feed off of the boos and the chants, and even off of the exhilaration of the road fans, going up 20, right? There's something in the competitive spirit to say, oh, game's not over yet. You guys are partying like this game is over. We're about to quiet you. I think I heard Josh Hart speaking to, like, there's nothing better than going in there and sending those fans home sad.
SGA said it last night about, I think it was SGA, or someone on OKC said it last night. He said, the best feeling in the world, yeah, it's fun to win in front of your home fan. The best feeling is shutting up 1,000 road fans or 18,000 road fans.
Maybe it was Jalen Williams because he balled last night. Maybe it was him. They took that game by a bucket. OKC, that's another angle to this. OKC is up 3-1.
We'd be having right now if the Knicks were down 2-1 and somehow Minnesota was up in that series. So, the trade and all that stuff. Like, this is why I'm saying the storylines are so day to day, and the things we talk about. And that was the point of that tweet. It's crazy. Everyone has to calm down. It was one game, and it was really nice that the team had kept you in it and that had all those big buckets. But guess what? When the game was tied at the end and they needed their biggest bucket of the game, guess who Tibbs went to? He went back to Jalen, and Jalen got that tough floater, and that was the game.
Yeah, that's the game. All right, we'll break here. 888-808-1019. I'm not going to give you the young man's name who stabbed the folks. I'm going to try and find the name of the Knicks fans that got stabbed, but it should never get that serious. People take this stuff way too personal and to a level where, like, yeah, this guy's charged and he's got his mugshot everywhere, but just be safe out there. Look out for one another. In New York tonight, I know there's a watch party at Madison Square Garden, and even in the bars around here in New York, like, it should not get to that level, but it is at a level of nervousness, a level of intensity, urgency. I think this is a must win for the Knicks. I mean, I thought the last game was a must win and they won it, but I think this one is more of a must win. You can't go down 3-1 and then have to win every game to make that up. You got to even the series up and then you can erase game 1 and game 2, and you're right back in it with home court advantage. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. All of this stuff.
Were you all?
All right, yo. Sorry for the delay and whatnot. KM to 8:55 p.m. in the chat. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? I'm rocking the Julius Erving 32 jersey when he played for the New York Nets. That's solid. This is the best show on the station. Keith lets the callers talk instead of cutting them off after literally only 10 seconds. Say that. We'll leave that up there. Josh just called. Let's see. In the building, in the flesh. Quickly, though. They, of course, will use their bench because they did it in the last game. But my whole thing is no two games are the same here. That ball's down. Oh, and he's hurt. I don't think he caught that ball. Juan Soto get doubled up here. The ball was not caught. I don't fall into the trap of thinking that they got to play their bench. Their starters have to play better. Their starters were beating their ass at one point in game one, and then they collapsed. Should make Pam a mod? Maybe. Everybody's a mod now. I don't want y'all to start getting any type of territorial, any type of way off that. Sorry, I'm here. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on in Flushing. Just bad base running. I guess they couldn't see it. Soto hit a fly ball to center field. The center fielder trapped it. I guess he thought it was caught. I guess it looked like a diving catch, not on the TV, but I guess out there, yeah, that's too close to tell. It literally skipped right into his glove. So Nimmo ends up being out, but I thought that they tagged Soto. I guess they didn't get tagged. They tagged Soto. Nimmo's still on first base. I don't know what's going on there. 2 outs, 1 on. Again, bottom of the first. White Sox lead 2-0. Keith McPherson on the fan. We're talking about the Knicks. Rami is a huge Knicks fan. I think was doing a Knicks podcast at some point and covers the Knicks. And he might not have that many followers, but he's got me as a follower. And I was watching what he was saying, and I'm like, this is pretty much it. I don't know how so quickly we've gotten. And that's why I came in yesterday. I was like, I don't need to hate on the Knicks. They have enough haters built in their fan base. There are people actually coming at Jalen Brunson. How? I thought his jersey was already in the rafters. I thought he was already one of the greatest Knicks of all time. You win one game without him being captain clutch, you're already ready to say that he needs to be on the bench and he can't be on the floor with Carl-Anthony Towns. No. Let's not stray so far off from the plan. That was never the plan.
Out of the game.
And hits his free throws down the stretch. You need that man. You need that man. And if anything, you need that man to drop a 40 ball tonight in a deciding game of this series, in the 4th game of this series, which will literally dictate if the Knicks are in it or if they're going to have a tough time getting back in it.
And that's the one thing you know about Brunson. He hears the noise. He's going to go out there and probably score 40 points tonight. And by the way, the first 2 games when he scored a ton of points, which everyone had a big issue with, because he's too ball dominant, he was shooting above 60% in those 2 games.
No, shouldn't have any problem with that.
God.
Didn't have any problem with that. He dressed in all black tonight. I saw him coming in all black, black shades, black hat, black jacket, and some coffee. Maybe he had the black coffee as well. Tyrese Halliburton, goofy. I don't know where he got that suit from. Go look it up. He came in with this gray suit and these long ass shorts. Did you see the picture?
Yes.
What, like, who dresses these guys? Somebody out there in Indiana. He's got on these big clown shoes. Him and Joe Burrow have the same stylist, and then he's got a purse with him. So, Pete Alonso ties the game. Pete is the guy. You got to pay that man. Pete is the face of the franchise. Paid Pete. He's money. 888-808-1019. Danny is in Paramus, New Jersey. Hello, Danny. You're on the fan.
Keith, I'm a big fan, as you know. Thanks for taking my call. Just real quick, thanks for shouting out that incident in Indiana. Prayers up for those Knicks fans. Obviously, you hate to see it.
Yeah, working on finding their names instead of giving credit to the absolute maniac that did that. But, just wanted to send a message. Like, it should never get to that point.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% agree. And I also agree with your point earlier. There has to be someone else that rises for the Knicks. I'm looking for OG and Bridges tonight, and here's why. It is so frustrating how, and credit to Halliburton, he exploits those pick and rolls, and he just picks apart Brunson and Cat when he switch on them, and even Robinson to an extent too. I'm looking for OG and Bridges to fight over every screen and not let Halliburton get away from them tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you'll see that energy. Like I said, OG last game, he doesn't show too much emotion. Definitely not in the media, definitely not pregame, but I saw some emotion out of him. This is a guy who's been to the finals and won it. Like they understand where they are. Him and Bridges are guys that have played in the finals. Like I expect their energy to be up, their defensive intensity to be up. Not that it wasn't, because I've seen them both play very well in this series. They got to bring it tonight, and that's another home run. Look at this. The make it happen Mets. Jared Young with a 2-run shot. Mets lead 4-2. Who do you think is breaking out offensively between OG and Mikal Bridges? I would bet OG before Bridges.
Bridges is looking good with that mid-range fadeaway. Once he gets that knocking down, he looks good, man.
Yeah, he needs to go to it more often. Not the three, the mid-range. That's what when he was a Brooklyn Net, that was the first thing I noticed about his game. I'm like, he's got a mid-range game like KD, not KD level, but close. He's got to go and trust that to create his shot.
Absolutely. He's an absolute sniper from there. Love to see it. Let's go, Knicks.
Thanks for the call, Danny. 888-808-1019. So the Mets, they get back quickly in the bottom of the first. Mark Vientos with a knock. So a little 2-out damage here in Queens as they're rallying after a little bit of a base running gaff by the Mets. Just, didn't see where that ball landed in center field, thought it was a catch. It was actually trapped, but they're making them pay. Reminder, this is the White Sox, the Chicago White Sox. You should sweep. Moose is in Jamaica on the fan. Hello, Moose.
You're a team, like,
Yeah, I'm in here till 8:55 hanging out,
I feel you. Perfect segue into my call. This is why they pay you the big bucks, because I went to the game yesterday, right? And I went there with my brother-in-law, and I was telling him before the game, this Mets-Yankees rivalry in the city is serious. He's fresh off the plane, fresh off the boat from God. I'm married to my sister. Been living in this country for 3 years, and I told him, don't wear any Yankee gear. I wore my Holland orange and blue shirt, like Mets and Knicks colors, to a Mets game, because even though I'm a Yankees fan, I live in Queens and stuff like that. Because I told him it's serious. He didn't really believe it. He's new to this. As we were walking back, at the game end and at the game's ending and stuff like that, there's like 30 Mets fans in stairway as we're exiting, screaming, "Yankees suck! Yankees suck!" He's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Damn, you're right." And to reference this even more so, like, I'm a Yankee fan from Queens, so I had wars growing up. But I grew up in Queens. It's like 1 20-minute bus ride to Shea Stadium. Like, for example, in the winter of the Yankees winning the World Series in 1999, right? Real talk. I got into a little argument on a winter day after the Yankees won the World Series, where I said to a friend in school, like, the Mets can't make the playoffs, they suck. So he threw a snowball at me. And I was wearing, like, my Yankees gear. So, and the Yankees just won, and I live in Queens, there's so many Mets fans. So I ended up facing with, like, 4 other Yankee fans in the school. Basically, the old school, the snowball fight. It was like 100-4. So many scraps, so many fights, and like.
When are we supposed to break here?
Back to those times, it was just so hilarious, and I was like telling my brother-in-law, who's his,
And then go to the break.
He's a Yankee fan from Ghana. He's a Yankee from Ghana. I don't know how many games he saw.
Thanks for the call, Moose. Sorry, Rami's talking in my ear. Moose is telling me his whole Mets versus Yankees scrapping, fighting, history, recent time. I got a read to do. I got the live chat. I'm trying to watch the Met game. The Mets are rallying right now in this first inning with 2 out. Damn, it's a lot going on. Drive safe, everybody. 888-808-1019. Moose, I don't know what you're doing, man. One, any game that I've been to at Citi Field where the Yankees weren't playing, I dress neutral. Just not looking for attention, even before I was on WFAN and anybody cared who I was. Not saying that people care now, but when I do go to Citi Field, it'll only be to see the Yankees. I will not be there this year because it's 4th of July weekend, but it is not worth it. Again, going back to, those 2 Knicks fans, and I hope they're doing well. I hope that they are all right. It should never get to the point of fisticuffs and violence over entertainment, over grown men playing children's games. Oh no, is Francisco Alvarez hurt? This game is crazy. If you're watching this Mets game right now, Alvarez looks like he's hurt. Did he just get hurt on his swing? See, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to focus, man. I got to be able to talk about the Mets, but actually, we got to talk about the Knicks. Let's take another Knick call and pump up the Knick fan before we get. Yeah, that's a hit by pitch. He got hurt in his at bat. Let's talk about the Knick game before the Knick game starts in about 20. Actually, it's probably going to be more like 30 minutes. Kenny is in Clifton, New Jersey on the fan. What's up, Kenny?
How you doing, Cheese? Good to talk to you. I did hear your opening comments, so I hope I'm not replicating. Let me preface this by saying I'm 67 years old, lifetime basketball Knicks fan, lifetime player. And I don't know what happened in that fourth quarter, but was that an imposter in Towns' jersey? Because he finally played like the physical man that he is. And I'll just go on to say, OG's got to be really aggressive. McHale's got to be aggressive. It can't be the Brunson show completely. They've got to take it to Indiana. They got to go to the hole. They have to draw fouls, not commit stupid fouls.
Right.
Can't let Indiana get out on top of them and run. If they go to the hole, they'll stop Indiana's transition offense.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for your comments and have a good evening.
Thanks for the call, Kenny. Yeah, I've used this phrase a lot. Styles make fights. This is the 4th fight in this series. You know their style. You know what they're trying to do. They know what you're kind of trying to do too. So, like, it's going to be a chess game between Carlisle and Thibodeau. And your best have to beat their best. Your best players are better than their players. One of their starters is compromised. The hero from game 1, Aaron Nesmith, he's got a bum ankle. He's going to play, but is he going to hit 6, threes in a quarter like he did in that fourth quarter? I highly doubt it. And is that an imposter in Karl Anthony Towns' uniform? No, that is what he is. He was a top pick, a star, an all-star. Like, that's why you gave up what you gave up to get him. That is what he is and who he is, and he turned that on because desperate times call for desperate measures. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games, and he was the only real scoring option on the floor. They set it up where it's like everybody's deferring to him. Go ahead, Cat. Take it to the rack. Layup, dunk, shoot the 3. WFAN and Corona are throwing a watch party tonight as New York takes on Indiana for Game 4 of the conference championship. Join New York basketball legend Larry Johnson at Blue Haven South on Fulton Street in New York City. Corona will be flowing all game along with specials and swag for fans. Just like LJ was on the hardwood, Corona is always smooth, always refreshing, and goes perfectly watching a game. That's Game 4 tonight at Blue Haven South on Fulton Street. Grab a bucket and watch New York get buckets with Corona and WFAN. Please drink responsibly. All right, man. A lot going on, as you guys can tell. Like, I'm watching the Met game. I got a read to do. I'm taking these calls. Moose is telling me about fighting Mets fans. I'm like, bro, I don't know if any of that really, like, Rami's telling me, yo, you got to do this read at 7:37. I'm like, that was a lot, man. Check your audio. You're on an echo. I gotta figure out. I'm going to figure out how to change all of this. I just don't have the time. But I have a, somebody sent me the VB voice meter virtual audio mixer. I'm going to go to work on how to make this audio better because these streams now have been consistent. We're going into June. I've been streaming consistently during my show since February, and we've got a little bit of a community and a decent amount of people watching and viewing. Like, I'm pulling over 2,000 views on average between Twitter and YouTube and all that every night. So I'm going to figure that out because it's only going to make it better. Amber said she doesn't hear an echo. I'm using the MacBook. I'm using the MacBook speakers and microphone. And then when you're hearing the call loud, there is a monitor speaker. See these lights? there's a monitor speaker up here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a monitor speaker in that rack with the lights. So that's just the best I can do. And like I went to school for radio. I worked at Guitar Center. I know how to rig this up, but I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at this right now. This monitor right here and how this is set up. Like there's XLR cords right here. So I'm like, what do I need to do? I need a Focusrite. I need a Focusrite USB audio changer to do this. But I don't want to buy one. Like I don't really want to spend $100 on that. I'd rather get it for free. I got to reach out, see if somebody will do it as like an influencer deal. You going to watch the game in the studio after your show tonight? I'm going to watch the first quarter here, and then I'm going to get on the train home and watch the conclusion on my nice TV. If you go to my Instagram account and you scroll back to the post that says Govey, you see the TV setup I have. I'd rather watch the game at my house over anything else, unless going live. How's it going, guys? What's up, Amber? Adjustment. Bridges needs to give more on offense. Nixon 6 is still in play. Mike, what up, man? Salute to the chat. Juan Soto can't get to that ball. That's a stand-up double. Salute. Appreciate all y'all pulling up, man. We'll do the 5-hour show Thursday. Maybe I can figure this out by Thursday. But again, like I said, I don't want to buy anything. If I can get a digital mixer that I could pay for monthly or something, I would do that. Straight up. Let me see if I can find these people's names. Nope. 2 Knicks fans got stabbed in an Indiana bar. Show more. Yeah, they should have beat his ass for real. Whether you're a Knicks fan or not. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I can't find these guys' name. I'm off of that shit. Doesn't matter. What else? Game 4, Eastern Conference Finals. Your New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. Big game. It will be a biggie. Either way, the Knicks win or the Knicks lose. It's just one of those games in the series, man. It's a pivotal game 4, they'll say. Like, you can either even up the series and erase the bad from game 1 and game 2, or you can go down 3-1 and it is all uphill and unlikely that you come back. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Eventually, we're going to talk about Anthony Volpe. See, what was I telling y'all yesterday? Let him rock, man. Get off his back, man. The whipping boy. Somebody's always got to be the whipping boy. You guys did your whipping boy act on Juan Soto when he came back. Now we're off of that. It's like, who can we point at in the Yankees lineup to say this guy's not good enough? And he won the game for him yesterday. Showed himself. And there's some numbers to back up actually how solid he has been. But, you know, depends on who you ask. Ryan Yarbrough, there's numbers to back up how solid he's been. Cashman's on a heater right now. That's another Cashman fine out the clearance rack, bargain bin, scrap heap. Let me get Ryan Yarbrough. Blue Jays, you don't want him? Let me introduce him to Matt Blake and Garrett Cole and Max Fried. And yeah, we'll figure something out with this guy. He's been great. He's been great. And the Yankees will look to take the series tonight after pitching Luke Weaver again. I don't know, we'll talk about the Yankees in a minute. We'll get to the Yankee conversation. The Mets are doing what they got to do. Up 4-2. After giving up 2, they get that back and add 2 in the first inning. Juan Soto is 1 for 1 with a single, looking to do some more damage. He's at the plate right now. But ultimately, let's get these last few Knicks calls in because I know once 8 o'clock comes, everyone's going to be tuned in to the game. The Knicks are not favored in this game. The Pacers are a slight favorite, -3.5. Over-under set at 219.5. They're expecting points. I'll take the over. I think this is, like, again, I think this is a night where your best have to beat their best. I think this is a night where what happened in the last game has nothing to do with this game. If you want to bet the Knicks tonight, they're plus money on the money line, plus 135 according to ESPN, coming up on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max app. That's where I usually watch the streaming app. Someone just asked, Keith, you're going to stay in the studio and watch the game there? I'm like, no, I'm going to watch the first quarter. I'm going to get on the train and go home and hopefully catch the second half from the comfort of my living room on my TV. Like, I'd rather watch any game on my TV versus, going live, of course. But, of course, I want to go home and watch the game. I'm going to go home, watch that game, watch the Yankee game, watch the end of the Mets game, and then we'll come back tomorrow. We'll do the same 7 p.m. to 8:55, 2-hour spot before Yankee baseball. Let's get back to the phones. Vince is in Brooklyn. What's up, Vince? You're on the Fan.
Paul Keith, long time listener. We had a few conversations. As far as the Knicks goes, I'm a big time New York anything that says New York. The sewers, it says New York. Everything that says New York. But I've seen this PT Bottom, ringing them up with the circus at the Garden for a long time. Next page, really quick. David Cohn did not make a bad statement. A lot of people need to understand that the Dodgers came from New York, came from Brooklyn. And anytime you get a big, large contingency at any stadium, Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, you're going to get them because they're the descendants of of Dodgers and Giants fans. You go ahead and run with that, brother. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, Vince. Yeah, go New York, go New York, go. I am no Knicks fan, but I'm also not a Knicks hater. And part of what I said yesterday was there's no room for Knicks haters. The fans are hating on their own team. The fans are turning on Brunson, turning on the coach, turning on Karl Anthony Towns. There are a lot of fans that said, pack them up, down 2-0, down 20 in the first half of game 3, pack them up on to 2026. And here we are with a chance to even up the series and extend it. It's good for WFAN. It's good for the city. In my notes, I had somewhere like the Knicks. Let me go back. I remember reading an article about how the Yankees and the Mets were going to generate close to $1 billion of revenue to New York City through their entire baseball seasons. And then I saw numbers around the Knicks and their run. Maybe it was in my notes from yesterday when I was on, not today, that they're going to get close to that too, like a little bit over $800 million. So, like, this is good for this to continue, for this series to extend, for the Knicks to keep winning, for the Knicks to even be playing this late into May. It never happens, or it seems like it never happens. Yeah, let me try and find those exact numbers and where they are in my notes that I clipped. It's like the Knicks, the Knicks winning, right? The Knicks winning game 3 ensured that there would be a game 5 in the Garden. They win tonight. and then there's a game 6 or a game 7 potentially in the like there it just they have the opportunity to extend the series and help the city and the businesses around the city, around the arena and beyond, where Knicks fans are going to watch the games. So 888-808-1019, it is it's good for us to be good. It's good for the Yankees to get to the World Series and be the best team in the American League, or one of them. You might think the Tigers are definitely the best team in the American League East as we're heading into June. It's good for the Mets to, knock off the Dodgers. And that was the other part of what you said, that David Cone is a New Yorker. David Cone is around here. Shout out to Coney. I'm sure I'll see Coney at his golf outing coming up. Bernie Williams softball game is also coming up June 14th. I'll be out there for that. He wasn't taking a shot at the Met fans or the Mets by saying that people were coming to see. Shohei Ohtani is a draw. Every time Ohtani came to Yankee Stadium with the Angels, it was Ohtani mania. And so, it isn't a knock to state the truth. Now, it's also facts that the Dodgers have the highest attendance in baseball. And a lot of their fans come to New York. Yankee fans felt that last year when 5,000 of them were walking, around our streets in Yankee land. They were coming down River Ave and 161st. But we understand, Mets fans. We see the difference. The Met fan is showing up to Citi Field after Steve Cohen demanded it, right? After they did win and after they have been great at home, the attendance can't be credited to the Dodgers. The attendance it's both. It is obviously the Met fan that has come out and bought these tickets, season ticket plans, and is there to support this good Mets team. But then also it's Ohtani mania. There are people showing up to see Ohtani. There are people showing up to see the Dodgers. Maybe some old time fans, but you mentioned that. But think about how long ago that was that the Dodgers were here. For people to really be Dodgers fans all that year. Like, how old are they to be making the trek to Queens to see the Dodgers? The Dodgers won the World Series last year. They have a lot of fans. The Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, who has a lot of fans. A lot of Japanese fans definitely came out to see Ohtani versus Senga in Queens. They came out to see Ohtani versus the Yankees every time the Angels were in town. The Dodgers are a draw. But that's no slight at the Mets and how well they positioned themselves. They went from, I think, 18th to right now they're 5th in baseball. And I think that's gonna hold. Maybe not 5, but they should be a top 10 attendance in baseball this year. But yeah, credit to the Dodgers too. I think I heard Evans rant about hating the Dodgers. Like, this is good for baseball. They are spending the most money in baseball. They have a ton of stars. They won the World Series last year. The Mets fans should be happy that you just beat them in a series. I hope that the Yankees can beat them in this series coming up in Chavez Ravine. I'm too scarred to go make the trip. I told you I've been to Citi Field less than I've been to Dodger Stadium. I think I've been to Dodger Stadium 9 times, Citi Field 8. But I'm not going this year because of the way the World Series went. I can't face those Dodgers fans. We're not so big and bad when they can flash that World Series champion logo at us. But if you're around this Saturday, May 31st in Brooklyn at BK Backyard, it's an outdoor bar with tables and just a whole cool setup outside, a tailgate type of vibe outside. We're doing a live show at 6 p.m. and then we'll watch the Dodgers-Yankees game at 7:15. And there will be a bunch of other content creators and people in the Yankee universe, Alex Day, Ask Kate, the Makeshift Project, and myself. We're going to do a little live show and then watch the game. So if you're not trying to sit at home, as I was just talking about sitting at home and watching the game, come out to Brooklyn. Just look at my social media. It's all there if you're interested in coming out and watching with some Yankee fans when they face the Dodgers next week. All right, let's get a call in before we break and before the Knicks game starts. Speaking of Brooklyn, Samuel is in Brooklyn. What's up, man? You're on the Fan.
The 3 things the Knicks have to do. The Knicks can't blow any leads. They can't make Brunson work like a dog. And Cat's not doing that performance again.
So 3 things they need to do. Basketball is a game of runs. They may blow a lead, but they can't let that knock them out of it. Like, they can get a lead and blow it. They got to come back. It can't be all on Brunson, the second thing you said. They can't make him work like a dog, but they need him, right? The dudes and dogs that do damage, he's the top dog. Even though he's the smallest pup, he's the guy. They need him. And Cat, I wouldn't sleep on Cat. I wouldn't expect him to have 20 points in the fourth quarter, but he's shown everybody he can shoot and he can take the ball to the rack against his team. And it depends on matchups and it depends on who's on the floor. You need Cat to star again. I had to remind everybody, game 1, Brunson had 43, Cat had 34, I believe. Like, they can have another one of those performances tonight, but win it.
You're right, Keith.
Thanks for the call, Sam. Enjoy the game. 888-808-1019. We got to break it down. It's about to be 8 o'clock. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Don't go anywhere because we're right back after this. I'm checking the box score to make sure I was right. Cat had 35. I keep saying 34. Same difference, though. Like how we throw out a 43-point performance alongside a 35-point performance and say that these guys can't do that again is beyond me. Four stars got to show up. Mike, what's up? Can the Knicks ever have a carryover effect to the next game? Not saying they need to be ahead in the first. Maybe tonight would be the night. You have to improve as the series goes on. You can't say the same, of course. Slow them down because Pacers can't play half court. We need Cat to be a dog tonight for 4 quarters. Why is there no home team advantage anymore in the NBA? Playing at home means absolutely nothing. Because the floor is the floor, the court is the court, the hoop is the hoop. The days of like home crowds giving an advantage, and it doesn't work. And maybe in the NFL, it doesn't really work in NBA because a lot of these guys thrive off that. And also, like, a lot of these guys are buddy and shit. Like, they're not as tied to the team and the city as they used to be, you know? This is Cat's first year, even though he's from here. It's his first year with the Knicks. Why is there no home team? I just read that. Put it in your hands. What up? Knicks got to ask themselves, who is Neesmith? Who is Nemhard? Them guys. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Their best is so much better than the Pacers' best. The Pacers' best players are Halliburton, Siakam, and Turner. What has Turner done? Siakam and Halliburton have hooped, but so have Brunson and Towns. So I don't know, man. I think tonight is best on best. I expect to see best on best tonight. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm about to promote, man. Why y'all are in here, because my boy Dennis just texted me, yo, I got the tickets. And I was just talking on air about the show that we're going to do before the Dodgers game on Saturday. Let me add this in here. Media, add overlay, downloads, Yankees, Dodgers watch party. All right, so check this out. I'll speak to it. Boom. Pinstripes and Pints, Saturday, May 31st, 6 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. Kate Maniscalco, Keith McPherson, Makeshift Project, hosted by Alex Day. So my friend Jared owns the spot. Years ago, I did some Brooklyn Nets watch parties there when the Nets were actually like playing and in the playoffs and decent. Now, even if you look at that little Ballpark Bites, I actually got to reach out to my contact at MLB. I think they're also doing something with this party as well. There's going to be a dating show type of game for like Yankee fans. There's going to be the 999 challenge during the game. Who can do the 9 innings, 9 hot dogs, 9 beers. We're going to do a pre-show party talking about the Yankees, talking about baseball, talking about content creation. And, you know, they're all big on TikTok. I'm not big on TikTok. I lacked on TikTok. I'm not big on any platform, but I got more followers than them on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. So I'm in the fold. So Saturday, if you want to come out, that's the info. Look at my social media for the link.
Good evening at 8 o'clock. I'm Chris Lopresti. This report is sponsored by Corona. WFAN and Corona are throwing the watch party tonight as New York takes on Indiana for Game 4 of the Conference Championship. Join New York basketball legend Larry Johnson at Blue Haven South on Fulton Street, New York City. Corona will be flowing all game along with specials and swag for fans. Just like LJ was on the hardwood, Corona is always smooth, always refreshing, and goes perfectly watching a game. That's Game 4 tonight at Blue Haven South on Fulton Street. Grab a bucket and watch New York get buckets with Corona and WFAN. Please drink responsibly. Well, if you're making that hit, hurry up because Game 4 tips in a matter of minutes from Indiana as the Knicks look to even up the East Finals at 2 games apiece. A lot of foul trouble for Jalen Brunson in Game 3 prior to the big fourth quarter comeback. Tom Thibodeau made sure to address that earlier with a little pregame message. Thibodeau going with the same starting 5 as Sunday night. Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mitchell Robinson. At Citi Field, the Mets are trying to run their winning streak to 4 against the lowly White Sox. Tyler McGill served up a 2-run homer to Miguel Vargas in the top of the first, but the Mets came right back with a pair of 2-run shots in the bottom half of the first. One from Pete Alonso, the other from Jared Young, so they lead 4-2. Now in the bottom of the third. That's on Odyssey Mets Radio 880. And looking ahead to tomorrow, the evening forecast not looking so great. So the series finale between these two teams has been moved up to a 1:10 first pitch at Citi Field. Yankees and Angels play the middle game of their 3-game set tonight in Anaheim. Carlos Rodon opposed by Tyler Anderson with pregame coverage beginning at 8:55 here on the Fan and the free Odyssey app. Fan weather brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Morristown. We got 67 degrees. Cloudy skies in Central Park, and with sports flashes at the top of the hour, I'm Chris Lopresti.
Here. All right, back into it on the Fan. I mean, the Mets they're doing it to them. Pause. Brett Beatty, Jared Young. I guess, did Morash predict Jared Young to homer today, Dinger Tuesday? Because I saw some Evan didn't believe in Jared Young. Well, belief is needed now. And Jared Young follows it up. So just look at like the Mets in 3 innings of work here already have 8 hits, 4 runs. Now, with no outs in the bottom of the third, they have runners on second and third. And here comes Mark Vientos, Jeff McNeil, Francisco Alvarez, who wore one, took a hit by a pitch, but they're looking to do some more damage. And I reckon that they will in this inning. Absolutely taking advantage of this White Sox team that they couldn't take advantage of with Adrian Hauser on the mound yesterday, and they had to wait until the end to, walk it off. But whatever, if you win by 1, you win, and you got to sweep these teams. You got to get fat on these teams, the White Sox and Rockies in your building. 888-808-1019. We're talking about the Knicks. I'm trying to get the stream up on my MacBook so I can watch the Knicks and keep an eye on the Met game. And still taking your calls on the Knicks before we really get into that and before that really gets going. Any last thoughts, any last predictions, any last questions as we go into Game 4? It's a pivotal Game 4, and the thoughts and feelings of the Knicks fan, they hang in the balance. I give it to you, Knicks fans. I don't envy your position because this team, they take you on a windy road, an up and down roller coaster. Like watching them come back from 20 down 3 times, watching them blow a 16-point lead, watching them have a tough series with the Pistons, but then pretty much, by the end of the series against the Celtics, just smoke the Celtics. Now being in this battle with the Pacers, heart palpitations, trouble breathing, all that type of stuff is going on.
They have 9 of the total 16 wins needed to win an NBA championship, which means they would still need another 7 wins. And I said, even if they ever win a championship, I don't know if I could live through all of it to see it because of how stressful they make it.
it's almost not fun.
Enjoying it.
It's fun to be here, but it is stressful, bruh. It is stressful. 888-808-1019. It's not stressful for me. I'm just a fan, hosted on the fan, talking about what I see. Kind of shocked at some fans where I'm like, yo, you never get this opportunity. You're never playing on May 27th. So why wouldn't you just have blind belief that they're going to win and get it done? Let's go to Damon in Monmouth County on the fan. What's up, Damon?
Hey, Keith, how's it going? Love the show. Long time diehard Knicks fan here. And one of the things, couple things. First thing on the series, everybody's beating up the Knicks right now, and I know the fan base is had a hard time with them coming back from 20 down. Got to remember something. If you look at the quarters in the series, there's been 12 quarters played in this series. 6 for the Pacers, 6 for the Knicks. Okay, so the series, if you look at it from that perspective, it's been split down the middle. And then on the player side, I look at what you said, and I believe in it. Towns, this series is going to be won or lost by Towns.
Yeah.
So look at Towns' numbers against the Pacers this year. He has averaged 30 points and 13 rebounds in 6 games. He's got to come out tonight and play big. And if he plays the way he played, last night, we feature him more. Jalen gives up the ball a little bit more, becomes more of a facilitator through this. I think we got a real good shot at pulling this thing out.
Thanks for the call, Damon. Yeah, they were favored in the series by some. And I said it yesterday, don't want to put it all on the big fella, but so much of this series is going to be decided by what Karl Anthony Towns you get or don't get. Jeff McNeil with the sack fly. The Mets go up 5-2 here. Karl Anthony Towns has to dominate, especially when it's one-on-one, especially when he has his opportunities. If they leave him open, shoot the three. If they give you a lane to come down the lane and dunk the ball, impose your will. It's tonight. It starts tonight. I'm trying to get this stream up right now. And then once the Knicks game gets going, and it seems like the Mets are giving themselves some breathing room here, we'll talk Yankees. I do want to chat about the Yankee game last night and what to expect tonight, and how the Yankees, everything is just coming up roses. Everything is good. There's no reason to be complaining. There's no reason to be looking at anybody to be the whipping boy. Judging from Memorial Day weekend going into June, where these Yankees are, I can't complain. It's better than I was expecting, knowing, they lost Juan Soto. Garrett Cole is hurt. Giancarlo Stanton's not ready to go. Luis Gil gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? The Yankees are better than we even thought they were going to be so far, and help is on the way. Jazz is with the Somerset Patriots. I'll be there Friday if you guys live around the ballpark. I can't wait to go. I think I'm throwing out first pitch. I think I might be on the broadcast. I've never thrown out a first pitch. I've always dreamed of being someone that was able to get that honor. How to a girl beat me to the punch. David is in South Jersey on the fan. What's up, David?
Hey, what up, Keith?
Hanging in there.
I got something to say about the Yankees series in LA. You don't want to face the fans. I think that's BS, because that series is really BS if you look at it. All their wins were last minute, one run.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I've been to Dodger Stadium a bunch. Those Doyer fans, those Cholos, the essays that I run into, that I tangle with, I can't face them after. I had to deal with them online. And I have some friends out there that are part of Pantone 294. What I mean is, I'm not flying across the country to get a hotel or crash with my sister to go to that ballpark dolo and deal with those fans that can flash their World Series 2024 champ. It was different in 2019. It was different in 2023. It was even different during the All-Star game when I went out there and the Yankees were in first place and the Dodgers were in first place, and they had the best record in the National League and we had the best record in the American League. I'm not putting up the money and time to go out there to hear about the 5th inning. You know what I'm saying?
All right, that makes sense. That's a series, when I look back at it, it just agitates me so much.
Me too.
Come on.
Bro, Cole should have stayed in the game. And we've been over this chapter and verse. Nestor Cortez didn't pitch for a month, and they got cute. And instead of going to Tim Hill, it's okay, let's press the Nestor button. And Nestor is all time now, forever, giving up the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history. And he's not a Yankee anymore. I remember being in Billy's, and I go, riveting. But I was saying it with sarcasm. They're going to Nestor here. How's this going to end? Probably not well for him to enter the highest leverage situation he could be in after being off for a month, but whatever. He's a starter, right? We're going to use him out of the – I don't know.
Yeah. The one other thing that really agitated me with Boone was not using the Martian at all. You know what I mean? Like not even one pinch hit just to get his feet wet.
And not using Trent Grisham. I just had this conversation. I had an interview, shout out to Chris Palme today, where, he asked me about my feelings about Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone is the manager, and I don't mind Aaron Boone. I like him as a person. Every time I've been around him, he's been great. But Aaron Boone has some mistakes on his resume, and these guys make up for it. But like some of these decisions, they're not going to go away. Those World Series decisions are never going to go away, and it can't happen again this year. And there's already been games that the Yankees have blown, whether it's going to Devin Williams or going to Mark Leiter Jr. or not going to Luke Weaver. And that's what I'm going to talk about as we get into this Yankee conversation tonight. It seems like he's going to Luke Weaver now without a doubt, without a thought, without a question. Leave it to Weaver. No, we're going right to him now instead of playing around with like De Los Santos or whoever else is potentially there. But I remember around this time last year with Clay Holmes, they talked about not going to Clay Holmes because they didn't want to burn him out.
Saves too, so I think I'm going to go to
He didn't have 10 blown saves by this time. I remember, maybe that Brewers series it was when Michael Tonkin came in and they used Michael Tonkin, and the way that they said it, even though Michael Tonkin landed at 2 a.m. and joined the team that day, they said they didn't want to, wear Clay Holmes out because they're going to need him in October. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's May. It's not even like we're talking about, I don't know. But yes, what you're saying is what I'm saying, and I hear you as well. Thanks for the call, David. The Dodgers fans they're crazy. They go hard. Like they were crazy enough to show up to the Bronx 5,000 deep. Yeah, they got a police escort and all that, but they were out there. They were standing on business out there. I give them credit. And in the stadium, like they were banging on stuff in the stadium. It was making me mad. Like they were like reaching over and like banging on like the Poland Spring sign or like the Oris sign. I'm like, hey, we don't even do that in here. They were reckless, but they got that off, man. That game 5, I bopped around the stadium. Shout out to my girl Serena and her dad Joe. They are season ticket holders since the 80s. And whenever I go out to LA, they show me love, and they are all the way Dodgers. I love LA, Blue Heaven, and all that. They were here for game 5, and a lot of us thought we had it. They thought we had it. The Yankee fans thought we had it. Man, I'll never get over the way the stadium looked with that Stanton home run, Judge and Jazz back-to-back home runs. Cole was absolutely shoving. It was just going perfectly. And then they couldn't field the ball. They couldn't get outs. They couldn't make plays. And that's how the World Series would end. All I got out of it was they stopped playing Frank Sinatra, New York, New York after losses. 888-808-1019. I don't fear the Dodgers team, and I don't fear Dodgers fans, but I got hyped to go to Dodger Stadium for Yankees versus Dodgers the last 2 times they were out there. And even, like I said, going to the All-Star game, because Dodger Stadium is amazing. To me, the theme park of ballparks. It's like going to baseball Disneyland. There's so much history in there and so many different things in there. And it's like, it's old school, but then they also have the luxury spots in there. I've told you the story 10 times probably about me meeting Kevin Durant there coming out of the suites. And yeah, it's fun. It is a lot of fun. It's not like our culture. They have one bar, I think it's called the Shortstop, that you got to walk to a little bit from, Vin Scully Ave. But like I did not book that trip this year, and I'm just aging out. I have a whole kid and a wife, and they need me more. Like, my wife actually went with me the last. She went with me in 2019, and she loved it. She went with me to the All-Star game. But I do not want to put myself in their ballpark, Dolo, dealing with the World Series. I'm telling you, I still talk to Serena. I talk to a few other Pantone 294 guys, and like they troll the hell out of me. I think on opening day, I wrote like, "What time are you guys going to Yankee Land?" And a couple of them wrote, "We'll be there in the 5th inning." That's forever. Like that's never going away. They got it. I would love more than anything for it to be Dodgers Yankees in the World Series again to get some redemption. But long road. 888-808-1019. Long road for Luke Weaver. Leave it to Weaver, the Yankee closer. And I got to make sure I take a screenshot of the bullpen budget tonight. I got to make sure that I'm on top of, Yes Network's bullpen budget that they put out. Because it just kind of gives you a thought process of who's available and who's not available. But I would assume tonight Luke Weaver is not available, but I'm not even going to assume that.
And then last night he warms up but doesn't come in.
Yeah.
Consider that as a third consecutive day, or is he available tonight?
Devin Williams will be available tonight. Hopefully it's not a situation.
That's that.
But it might be. Tonight they're throwing Mr. Anderson. Tonight they have a guy that I was talking about yesterday as a potential trade target for the Yankees, where I don't know, maybe they get off the mat behind Tyler Anderson and maybe he shoves tonight and it's a tight game, it's a close game, and you need Devin Williams in a tough spot. Is Carlos Rodon on the mound? Not to bring up old stuff, but that was the site of Carlos Rodon blowing a kiss to the fans. He had a rough outing in the Big A, and those Yankee fans that travel well, they heckled him there. Why are you guys going to boo Juan Soto? Bro, they booed Carlos Rodon in Anaheim. Like, what are you talking about? This is what they do. Why are you surprised? This is what happens. So if Rodon, who has been going great, if Rodon doesn't have a great outing, it could get wonky. 888-808-1019. Devin Williams, I do not need to be the closer. I'm good with Luke Weaver, and I'm good with Devin Williams as a setup guy. But there's a part of me that thinks that they want to work back to that. They die hard on their trades and their contracts. They traded for this guy to be the closer. They started the year off with him as the closer. They're going to find a way to get him back to being the closer.
That, hey, what should we talk to Boone about? I replied to that last week. Hey, Devin Williams has looked good. When will they start to think about him in the closer role? And people got mad at me as if the Yankees wouldn't do that.
They're already thinking about it.
Of course.
But people get mad online because that's what they can do anonymously behind their silhouette and no picture of themselves. And they'll have like a phone number or an email in their handle. Anyway, the Knicks game is on in there. I see you clapping. I'm trying to tab over and get HBO Max on my screen. I turn it on TNT in here. Was it 39 in here, bro? I don't know what kind. We have DirecTV. I don't know the channels in here. I've been here for 4 years. I still don't know how to get to a certain channel. All right, so now we got that game on, and the Mets I'll keep on the box score. But yeah, as far as the Yankees are concerned tonight, I want to see guys hit and put up enough runs where we're not in a close game and we're not worrying about who's coming out of the bullpen. And we'll see what the bullpen budget is. But this is a stretch of games out west on the road with no off day. And you got to be really careful about who you pitch. But I thought it was interesting when I woke up today because I didn't see it. I went to sleep not long after Volpe's bases clearing double. My son was actually sick. I was up between 3 and 4 with him coughing. And then he had the 102 fever. At one point, it was 1019. The fever was 1019. I was like 1019 FM just for some comic relief in the house. I had to get up this morning and deal with baby Jack. And then when I checked the box score, I'm like, okay, Weaver threw last night and it was 5-1. It wasn't a save situation, but it behooves you to win the series if you take the first game of the series. I don't mind them not playing around. Because, Yankee fans always talk about the Yankees trying to steal outs with other guys. Like I mentioned, De Los Santos. Even though last night he was good. He had 3 strikeouts. But, there was a couple games ago where they threw him in to try and finish the game. He couldn't get it done. Or Ian Hamilton. Tyler Matzek is gone. We need, Kirk Cousins' cousin to get back. There's some other pieces that are going to get back. Loizaga is an option. Loizaga, Devin Williams. I think they're looking for an opportunity to give Devin Williams those last 3 outs. Maybe they do that. Other things from the game last night, just Volpe. All the chatter around Volpe just got quiet again. It'll come back. If he has 2 strikeouts tonight and 2 at-bats that aren't good, it'll come right back. But it's I told you, this is a product of the Yankee fan always needing somebody to cast their ire on. Somebody. They can't do it with Hal. They can't do it with Cashman. They can't do it with Boone. They got to find somebody in the lineup, somebody in the field that they're saying, that guy's not doing well enough. That guy's not good enough. And it's compounded because they feel like Volpe's gotten special treatment. Whatever. I don't think he's gotten special treatment. He got the opportunity to win the job in camp, and he hasn't lost it. And that's the other thing. Who do you want to sit Volpe down for? Who? For whom on this team? Peraza to play shortstop? No, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. He turned around on 97-mile-an-hour fastball last night, hit that ball over the guy's head, and that was the game. 4 runs scored in that 4th inning, and they won by 4. I know a lot of people talked about Zach Neto, right? Because Zach Neto is another one when we talk about the Bobby Witt Jr.'s, the Gunnar Hendersons, the C.J. Abrams, the Corbin Carrolls. Well, Zach Neto homers to start the game last night, and it didn't matter. Ryan Yarbrough, as we talk about Luke Weaver was another bargain bin, scrap heap type of guy. Look at Ryan Yarbrough. I thought he was about to be this year's Michael Tonkin. He's better than that. We talk about Jeremy Hefner in the Mets pitching lab. We got to start talking about Matt Blake and the Yankees pitching lab. Look what they're getting out of this guy. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. The Zach Neto home run, 7 Ks. What? I didn't even want this guy on the team. I forget which outing it was that he blew out of the bullpen where I was like, why is this guy even here? Why are we always looking for bums? Always looking for bums because we could clean him up, give him a nice haircut, throw a suit on him, shine him up, soap and water, and now they're shiny New York Yankees. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the fan. It's a tie game in Indy. No, that tie just was broken by a free throw. 25-24 Indy over your Knicks. I've got about a half hour and some change left. Call up and join the show. We'll be right back. All right, so we're on. I'm going to try and go to the bottom of the chat and go back. Hector, appreciate it. You guys getting me paid faster. Is that Neesmith with the dunk? His ankle must be fine. All right, let's see. Boone just does stupid shit sometimes and then tries to talk out of it. Absolutely. Like not pinch hitting certain guys. We saw that already in this early part of the season. He said he felt like if he went to Hamilton for the 9th, that he wouldn't be able to get out of it and have to call. Yeah, whatever. That's why I said Ian Hamilton could have been an option there, but they don't trust him right now. Boone was talking about it on John Boy's video today. They consider 3 runs kind of a save situation due to the 3-batter minimum. Can't remember what he said about Weaver. Let me see some here. Not want Weaver as the closer. Exactly. That's facts. They want Williams. Definitely think they want him in the closer position. Me too. He's done it longer. His numbers might be better. But it's a tricky situation because like Luke Weaver gave up that homer the other day. You got to be careful with his usage. Like he throws his fastball and he's got to be able to throw that fastball by guys. He had a walk last night. Like, we'll see tonight what the bullpen budget is. So on pace for another 40 ball. How many fouls? So if he gets out of the first quarter, no fouls. Because his pop's in the building. 54. Oh, so it's before that. Okay. Okay, so there's one break coming up here at 35. I'll be right on it. And then come back quickly to 54 or 51. Okay. This show is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Word. So Rami was just telling me, like, this show's over quick. I'm trying to see what else I wanted to talk about in my notes, as a matter of fact. Some Volpe stats. Help is on the way. Ryan Yarborough. Yarborough. I always say Yarborough. So Corey. Not for nothing, bro. I've never needed one call. I take a lot of calls, but like I'm blessed with the gift of gab. I could talk all day. I could talk from right now till 9 o'clock without stopping if I had to. So it's nothing. Now, when I first started doing shows, like the first 5-hour show I ever did, I'm like, damn, this is a lot. Yeah, and if you have enough in your notes, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm queuing up things in my notes that I haven't hit, and I'm trying to find the note about like the economic impact that the Knicks are going to make on the city. Knicks economic impact. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm back. But this is quick, man. This is like, I don't know. We got a break in like 8 minutes. Yeah, roll out. You hear that? Roll out. I'm going to roll out, and then you're going to get Yankees baseball live from Anaheim. Dave Sims, Susan Waldman, Game 2. Carlos Rodon versus Tyler Anderson as the Yankees look to take the series. So, speaking of the Yankees, help is on the way. Luis Gil is expected to throw off the mound on Friday. Yay. That's great. Jazz Chisholm was seen wearing his 13 basketball jersey in Somerset with the Patriots. Yes. Taking batting practice with the Somerset Patriots. And Jazz will be playing Thursday, Saturday, Sunday in Somerset. And of course, I'm going Friday. And I booked the Friday game so long ago. Shout out to the Somerset Patriots. Awesome people over there. Literally, I've met and talked to 3 people at the Somerset Patriots. They're all nice guys. That must be part of the interview process. You got to be a good person, got to be a nice guy. They've sent me merch and swag, and I can't wait to go. I got to check the email, but I'm pretty sure the first one I couldn't make, I was trying to go in April, and that was going to be like a test drive. That was going to be get a lay of the land, get a feel for things. But Friday, I'm going to be throwing out the first pitch. I think I might be on the call. I think they might let me take BP too. So that's good for me because I need to take some swings before Bernie Williams softball game, not embarrass myself. And yeah, they're just going to kind of host me and make a thing out of it. WFAN's Keith McPherson, Somerset Patriots Friday. Jazz isn't going to play, but I'm guessing he might be around. Maybe not. Maybe he's not playing because he wants to, maybe he has prior engagement. Maybe he has a schedule conflict, something he's got to do Friday night. But I will be there Friday if you're going to the Somerset Patriot game. Hopefully the weather is good. Looking forward to that. And Jazz is going to start his rehab assignment out there this weekend. So they're saying Jazz could be back as soon as June, right? As soon as next week when the Guardians come to town and the Red Sox come to town, and it's going to be turned up. It is going to be great. What else did I have in my notes here on the Yankees before we get to the next break and I got to get out of here? Oh, shout out to my guy, Randy Wilkins. And Randy is great. Randy has a great podcast. Randy Wilkins is the guy who directed the Captain doc. He was talking to Max Goodman on his podcast about Caleb Durbin. And it's funny to me how Yankee fans, it's just some, but I think it's just young fans that are just, I don't know, they're never satisfied. They need something to complain about. This team is good. This team is winning. This team is about to win their 7 series in a row. But the smoke that Anthony Volpe is getting from some random fans, Caleb Durbin right now would be hated. Caleb Durbin right now would be hated. And so I saw a Randy Wilkins tweet where he quote tweeted Torpedo Volpe, Volpe Parm 11 on Twitter. And the quote was, Yankee fans would have hated Caleb Durbin because in 105 at-bats, Caleb Durbin is batting .210 with 1 homer, 16 ribbies, 4 stolen bases, and a .580 OPS. He's playing third base for the Brewers. And Brian Cashman told you that would be the Yankees' second baseman. I didn't really buy that, but he did a good job of packaging Nestor Cortez and Caleb Durbin to get us Devin Williams. And don't be surprised if Devin Williams is called upon out in Anaheim to close the game tonight, whatever the situation is, whether it's a save situation or not. I really do think that they are going to try to work Devin Williams back into being what he's been for years and what they got him for. 888-808-1019. Let's go to the phone as we're watching this Knicks game. Pacers have led. Ooh, Brunson with a nice steal. Let me get this box score up here. The Pacers have led, but Brunson, who I literally was saying to y'all, like he could have another 40 ball. He has 13 right now in the first quarter. If you do the math, oh, Siakam with a tough take. You do the math, he might be on his way for another 40-plus game. Tony is in Middletown, Delaware on the Fan in New York. What's up, Tony?
Bridge is missing 1-footers, 2-footers, 3-footers, and 4-footers.
Oh, he's good for that.
What's that?
He's good for that. He's always smoking layups. I seen him do that with the Brooklyn Nets. Point blank shots, he'll miss those.
So it looks like they did make a change. McBride got to play. I mean, there's no reason to have 0 offense. Play McBride and
Precious Achua getting some minutes like Rick Carlisle asked for.
Yeah, so I mean, because it's disgusting seeing this dude just throw a ball over himself on offense. So yeah, great defender. Well, I'll say good defender, but yeah, we can't have him on the court anymore. He can't be out there just like I said, just missing shots at point blank range often. So sit him down, keep him down. I hope it gets back to Nick Brad. Keep that dude on the bench.
Thanks for the call, Tony. He's on the bench right now. You will need him to get stops late in the game. But yeah, watching Bridges smoke open layups, that's part of his game. I see him do that in Brooklyn. I see him do it with the Knicks, and I laugh. This guy, he's good for smoking a layup. When will he have his, streak of hitting shots? When will he get hot? When will he turn it on? I don't know if it's going to be tonight, and they've already moved on from him. You're seeing Deuce McBride out there on the floor right now with Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, and OG Anunoby. That was a McBride 3. Deuce. Anyway, 888-808-1019. Before we go to break, Yehuda in Connecticut on the Fan. What's up, man?
Yo, Keith, what's up?
Watching this Knick game, it's lively, back and forth, a lot of scoring. I told you I'll take the over.
You mentioned before how it would be nice if Devin Williams gets back on the.
Well, I don't need it. I don't need it. What I'm saying is that the Yankees are probably thinking that. It wouldn't be nice for me because I don't want to put him in another position to blow another lead or game. And I have Luke Weaver, and Luke Weaver's got the head for it or whatever. I'm good.
Wouldn't it be amazing if he got back in for when they played the Dodgers?
Maybe. Because I mean, he didn't face the Dodgers with us last year. He wasn't on that team.
Showing them what we got.
Maybe, yeah. What I've said about it, and thanks for the call. I said, Brian Cashman went and put together a National League All-Star team to go defeat whoever comes out of the NL. Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger, Max Fried, Devin Williams, even the emergence of Trent Grisham, a former National League guy. I don't know. I am happy with Devin Williams not sucking, not walking guys, not blowing leads. I feel like we don't have to force it. He's found a new role as the setup guy. Luke Weaver is the guy. But if you keep pitching Luke Weaver every day, he's going to walk guys. He's going to give up homers. He's going to get run down where you got to go to Devin Williams. I don't know. They know better than I know. I'm just a fan. I just watch like you guys watch. I critique, and I hope that they win. And they have been winning. So what am I to say if tonight they go to Devin Williams as the closer and you see him maybe in tandem with Luke Weaver? 888-808-1019. I'm running out of time. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Let's break this down. When I come back, we'll take the last of the calls. I'll get my final thoughts and words in, and then I'm out of the way for Yankees baseball at 8:51. Yeah, KM to 8:51 p.m. on the Fan. Returns right after this. Let me see if Chat GPT or I don't know, Google has Chat GPT built in. What is the economic impact of the New York Knicks playoff run on New York City? Okay, here it is. The New York Knicks playoff run is projected to generate a significant economic boost for New York City, potentially reaching $832 million if the team makes it to the NBA Finals. We'll come back with that after the break. All right, let me see. The chat keeps going and the show keeps going. I can't keep up. The Mariano Duncan. We play today. We win today. That's it. Justin, I appreciate you, bro. I try to tell people, like, I don't feel like I have fans, but I do have a lot of supporters. I do have a lot of people that rock with me. So if some people hate me, if some people don't rock with me, I don't think that there's enough of them to catch up to the people that do. So I appreciate you, you know. But my new thing for this summer is to just straight up ignore the hate, ignore the haters, man, because they're mad corny. They're mad corny. And they don't be outside. This is the last West Coast stretch. They went on the West Coast trip before and played they played the Padres, not the Padres. They played the Sacramento A's and the Seattle Mariners. Wells got to find it. Mad love. Yeah, you know what? I was talking to someone recently, and they're like, "Bro, you came out of this internet stuff. You were a social media manager, and you also built your following, and you built a lot of it shooting back at people. But now, if you want to ascend to the next level, you don't do that. The greatest response is no response. Once you rise above the little petty slander, the little nonsense BS talk, he's like, you'll be surprised how much you'll elevate and how quick you'll elevate. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. So appreciate the $9.99. Ignore the haters. Peace. You know what I always throw up in here? Never met a hater. Not trying to meet one. Man, I meet people, bro. Like, I've met people that have gotten emotional meeting me. I've met people that have been nervous meeting me, have poured their heart out meeting me. And I'm a regular dude, but you don't realize like how you connect to some people over the internet, over the radio. Doing a show that gets somebody through their work, or doing a show that gets somebody through tough times. Man, I cried one night on the air. There was this kid, Sam from Monmouth County. His brother was struggling, fighting cancer. And he said the only time he would get in the car and drive to Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital was during my 5-hour KM to AM, because he could get in the car, drive the hour north, hang out with his brother for 2 hours, and get in the car and drive back, and my show would be on. And he said he felt like I was a companion to him. And I'm telling you, when I like stepped out of myself and I put myself like in his car, in his shoes, and I lost my brother, but not like that. That shit broke me down, bro. That's more powerful than someone being like, this guy's a diversity hire. This guy's takes suck. This guy's a Yankee fan, Met hater. He's the worst. Listen, like, bro, all that shit is corny as hell. Like, I actually connect with people and I make people feel real things. And that's what it's about, impacting people and changing somebody's night or perspective or any of that. Oh, yeah. Running out of time, but that's perfectly fine. These shows are quick, concise, and condensed. And Thursday, you'll get the 5-hour KM to AM. Maybe I'll bring in a guest or two. But, I mean, for the most part, I like talking to you guys and talking to people in the live chat and watching these games. Now you're looking at, when we talked about Tom Thibodeau and how would he counter and what would he throw at the Pacers in this game, you're looking at it, right? Precious Achiuwa on the floor early. DeLon Wright on the floor early. Landry Shamet in the game. Like, okay, you guys want to see the bench? You'll see the bench. And I'll try to keep my guys fresh for the, closing time, winning time, final moments. So 888-808-1019. If you want to chime in on the Knicks, if you want to chime in on the Yankees, the only other things that I was going to put out there is like, it's good to see people backing Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe's 31 RBI are the most by any American League shortstop. Fireside Yankees put that out there just to remind people, like, this guy is helping. This guy is driving in runs. You can pick and you can poke and you can prod and you can find these other little things to complain about with Anthony Volpe's defense or his bat. But he is a productive player. He is helping this team. These guys love him, and they do not have a better option on the team. Sleeper Yankees put out in Volpe's last 15 games, he's batting .276 with a homer, 7 ribbies, and .831 OPS and 16 hits. So what are we actually talking about? You guys have a problem with Anthony Volpe because he grew up a Yankee fan, because he met Derek Jeter when he was 9, because he is one of us. He loves the Yankees just as much as you do. His family loves the Yankees like you do. Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand crapping on one of our own. You got to lift this guy up. You got to keep watching him. He's going to put in the work. He wants to be great, and get it out of your head. Any thoughts of, like I said, Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson? He's Anthony Volpe, and the Yankees like Anthony Volpe and have given Anthony Volpe the runway to be Anthony Volpe. And I think there's more in there. I do. I think at 24, you don't judge any player at 24 and say, oh, this is what they are. It just happens to be year 3. So you're taking a large sample size and saying, oh, this is all he is. This is the best that he can do. No, I think he helps his team. I think those guys like him. I think the front office likes him and his teammates like him, and they don't look at him as any type of hindrance, and neither should you. So Looking forward to seeing what he does tonight. Looking forward to seeing what this economic impact is for the Knicks. I said I was going to go look up those numbers. So back on May 22nd, New York Basketball wrote, Mayor Eric Adams says the Knicks playoff games have generated almost $200 million for New York City's economy. I'm sure they're there now. Each game from here on is projected to average $91 million. So they are going to get a game 5. They may get a game 7. And I just took the time to look it up. Now, Google has AI built in. AI is everything. If you're not using AI for everything in your life that you're trying to improve or you need help with, or you just you have answers that you need answers, like it can optimize things. I'm learning so much from it. There's so much out there on the internet now. Like I remember being a young guy when like there was like Ask Jeeves, and obviously Google became the #1 search engine, but there's so much on the internet now for decades that now this artificial intelligence can pull together anything. So I asked, what's the economic impact of the New York Knicks playoff run on New York City? AI Overview says the New York Knicks playoff run is projected to generate a significant economic boost for New York City, potentially reaching $832 million if the team makes it to the NBA Finals. So, the number was 990 million for both the Mets and Yankees entire 7 months of a season. That's the economic impact that both baseball teams would have on the city. This one basketball team is getting close to there with just a run to the finals. So, I mean, if you're a New Yorker, how are you hating on that? Because you're a Nets fan? Okay. If you're a New Yorker, how are you hating on that? Because you grew up a Lakers fan, a Bulls fan. It's good for the city. Don't you live in the city? Don't you live around here? Don't you have to, even if you don't live around here, don't you have to pass through here? Don't you work around here? Don't you have friends that work at bars and clubs and in Madison Square Garden and in ticket sales or ushers? I don't know. I do. So like, I'm just not on that type of time. I haven't been this entire time. It's not about the Brooklyn Nets or hating on the Knicks. You want to see them get to the finals over the Pacers, right? We're not talking about the economy in Naptown, and they're hurting right now. Caitlin Clark, I saw, is hurt. People are coming up with all types of stuff with that. They need Caitlin Clark. She's generating a ton of income out there in Indiana. I got no love for the Pacers. I'm not trying to see the Pacers advance, especially since they did it last year, right? They advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, beating the Knicks in 7 games, and the Knicks were hurt. The Knicks are healthy. And they're not calling any fouls, man. Cat, as big as Cat is, as much as people say he's not tough and he's soft, he takes a lot of contact. He takes a lot of hits and plays through them. That's a foul, but it doesn't get called on him because of his frame, because of his body type and his size. 49-44 here. Indiana over the Knicks with 8:40 left in the second quarter. Getting ready for this Yankee game. I haven't read the lineup yet, and I'll do that before I get going. I'm out in 3 minutes. I don't know if I'll get another call before that. So now Paul Goldschmidt is back in the lineup. Paul Goldschmidt, he don't want to stay out of the lineup. Paul Goldschmidt had a pinch hit last night. He'll be leading off and playing first base. Trent Grisham will bat second out in center field for the Yankees. Aaron Judge will bat third out in right field. Cody Bellinger will clean up, playing in left field. Anthony Volpe will bat fifth. Oh, Volpe should be lower in the lineup. Why is he hit on? Well, Volpe is playing shortstop and batting fifth. Ben Rice. Oh, why is Ben Rice below Volpe in the lineup? Well, he's a left-handed hitter. He'll be the DH batting sixth. DJ LeMahieu will be at second base batting seventh. Austin Wells will do the catching batting eighth. And at the bottom, playing third base, Oswald Palooza batting ninth. Let's see what these Yankees do against Tyler Anderson. Let's see if these Yankees can take the series in the Big A in front of their own fans. Taylor's oldest time. Yankee fans take over that ballpark. I got to go out there. Somebody was telling me how cheap the beers are out there, and I'm like, that's one place I haven't been. I've been to Dodger Stadium a bunch of times. I never thought to slide to Anaheim to see the Angels or even to see the Yankees play against the Angels. I hope once my son is older, he's into that, then I have an excuse. And even if my wife doesn't want to go, where you guys going? Oh, we're gonna go see the Yankees play the Angels in Anaheim. Oh, I don't feel like flying to California. Okay, don't. Me and Jack are gonna go. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. My son is not into baseball like that. He's actually banned from Yankee Stadium because, I mean, I brought him to the second game and it just didn't go well. And the Yankees had like 20 runs and 9 home runs, and I'm missing stuff. And this guy's eating popcorn off the ground and touching people's shoes and crawling around and running and doing laps. And yeah, terrible twos are upon us. 2 minutes until my show ends. Let me see what I did not hit. I gave you guys the numbers on the economic impact. I gave you guys the update. I didn't say that Giancarlo Stanton is down in Tampa. He's taking some swings. He's going to do a rehab game soon as well. So you've got Jazz, Luis Hill, and Giancarlo Stanton all coming back in June. And the Yankees are in first place looking to add room on that first place lead. And it's a good time to be a Yankee fan. Brian Cashman's on a heater. The team that he put together, better than advertised. All right. I'm out of here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. And thanks for watching. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll do this same little show tomorrow, 7 p.m. to 8:55. Sure, we'll have reactions from this Knicks game. Reactions. If the Yankees take the series, if the Mets take the series, and anything else that pops up in New York sports. Stay tuned for Yankees baseball on the Fan with Dave Sims and Susan Waldman. Everybody be safe out there. Have a good night. Again, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. All right, that's it, yo. I didn't check the train. I did not check the train. Susan was texting me. Susan's like, you need to see a game out here. And I'm like, I know. I was listening to the broadcast last night, and I heard you guys say it's now the 4th oldest ballpark in baseball. I'm like, that's crazy. Awesome. Yeah. Susan's sending me pictures right now. How dope is that for me? Like, I knew Susan Waldman way before she knew who I was. I love Susan. Like, that's cool as hell. Like, I'm wrapping up my show. Susan Waldman is just texting me as she's listening to the show. I gotta pull up on Susan next homestand. That's all I got, y'all. I'm out of here. Appreciate everybody. Good night.